Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Vocal Arts, wherever you are watching or listening from. I am here with Johanna Kurkela, and I'm going to pass the baton to her and let her introduce herself really quick.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johanna Kurkela, and I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, fantasy enthusiast. My currently active bands at the moment are Auri and also Eye of Melian, both of which are releasing new music this year and also doing our first ever live shows this year. So it's going to be a very momentous year altogether. Auri has already released our first single, Shield Maiden, and our album is due 15th of August, after which we're going to head out on our first ever tour. And on selected nights, also my other band, Eye of Melian, will be joining us, with whom we're currently recording our second album, which should be released next year. So a lot of music, wonderful things and dreams coming true this year.
Amazing. So you'll be going on tour with two bands at the same time?
Yeah, I've never done it before. I wonder, have you?
No, no, I can't imagine, singing in the opening act and then singing in the closing act as well. That's a lot on the voice.
It's a new experience for me as well. But I feel like during COVID, it was, I felt like there were just years where I was waiting for things to happen at home. So now I'm kind of doing double duty to kind of make up for the lost time there. And the time feels certainly right. So it's going to be a huge adventure this coming fall.
I get it. Yeah, the live performances took such a big hit when COVID happened. All of us. I mean, I don't know, but I perform as an opera singer, and that completely shut down. As soon as COVID came around the corner, and it was like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go from here? So I feel you on wanting to get back to live performance. It's so special, and it's so different from studio recordings or doing stuff online, which are all great, but there's something about having real people in the room when you're performing.
That's so true. I'm there, you 100%. I feel like the magic of music is unleashed in the live environment. That's how I feel too. There's just something that cannot be replaced in the live shows. The connection with the audience and just sharing music live. It's magical.
It's magical. Yeah. It creates the atmosphere. It's amazing. Because you can have big numbers online. You can have, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people potentially can see what you do. But then you get in a room and you could sing for, in the classical world, we'll do recitals where it's quite small and intimate. It's just voice and piano and maybe 50 people in a room. And that is electric, even though, by the numbers, it's so much smaller than what you might see online.
I love that. That gives me goosebumps even about it. Yeah. It's just something so tangible that I think it's so needed in this world. And even though it's wonderful that we can put out music, and in this day and age is easier than ever to kind of become an artist and release music. You don't need to book an expensive studio anymore. You just need a laptop and a mic and a good sound equipment, and you're good to go. But there's nothing that can really replace, at least for me, the connection, the live connection for sure. And also sharing the music with other musicians.
Right. Right. Both of those things are so special. Well, walk me back to the beginning of Auri. How did that band come together?
Well, with Auri is a band, a three-piece band with my husband, Thomas Holopainen, and our dear soul brother, Troy Donovan. I think our initial dream of Auri began already in 2011. But it took us quite many years to breathe some life into this dream and make it a reality. So now we're releasing our third album already, and these are the first live shows that we're ever going to do. So as you can imagine, it's been something that has needed the time to grow and evolve into what it is now. And I feel like now the time is right to take it on tour and share it live with people. I'm really looking forward to that.
Amazing. And how did you all come together on the kind of music you wanted to make, on the kind of genre that you might put Auri in?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think we ever had like a discussion of what our music should be. I mean, we all have a very distinctive style of writing music, and we all write music in Auri. So it became this wonderful fusion of each of our individual characters and personas as songwriters, as well as kind of our musical backgrounds. But also, I feel like there's this interesting middle ground where we all meet. And yet, even though we each write separately the songs, it still feels like it's coming from the same source energy wise, and it has the same heart. And the fact that we don't really have egos in this group, it enables us to work so seamlessly.
Yeah, the songwriting in a group can be challenging if there's egos involved, for sure.
Yes, I'm sure we all know that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know people in the industry that have egos going on. So when you all are writing a song, will someone take lead on it, and then there's collaboration from the other folks, or is it, from the get-go, the three of you sitting in a circle and like making up lyrics?
Well, that's the thing, because me and Thomas, we live in Finland and Troy lives in the UK, so we don't get together very often. So we each have our separate home studios where we kind of initiate the songwriting, each of us separately, and we have our own ideas and what we want the songs to be about. And then when we've arrived at an interesting point with the song and feel like, well, now it's time to let the others hear what I've been working on, then we share and file share and kind of start adding our own signature fingerprints and footprints on each other's songs. And it's a wonderful process, and part of the process to kind of see the songs grow and evolve from there.
Yeah. And so it goes through a bit of an evolution before you eventually get to the studio.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's wonderful. And I feel like music could be tweaked forever, right? I don't know if you're the same, but I mean, you could always find new things to try out, and some epiphanies come during live shows. That's why I love live environments so much, because you kind of get to continue the journey with the songs. At a studio, you have a deadline, you kind of need to take a photo of the song. It's like you need to decide that this is the form of it that I want to introduce the song to the greater audience. But later on in a live environment, you kind of get to still play around and have new ideas and test them out. So I love that.
Yeah, the challenge is if you waited until the song was perfect or final, you'd never release it. So at some point, you just have to put it out there.
That is so true. And that's sometimes the double-edged sword, because sometimes you don't feel like you're ready and you want to still turn a few more stones. But it's good that I appreciate it so much that we have a group, and a group that we can trust each other fully. And, if you get into a deep rabbit hole inside your head about a song, then the other two can kind of ground you down and say that, no, it's awesome, just let go. And let's move forward. And that's a huge gift.
That is. Yeah. You can also, if the song goes through a big shift during a tour or something, you can release another version of it. So this is our whatever version. And then, the fans will be happy to hear a second version.
Exactly. Yeah. That is awesome.
Regarding the kind of continent collaboration that you guys have to do, I totally feel you, because you were talking about the Dragonborn cover that me and the Bass Gang did, and that group started during the pandemic, totally virtually. So I'm in Arizona, Bobby is in Boston, which is Northeast US, Tommy's in the Czech Republic, and Marwan's in Egypt. And the four of us have figured out via extensive Google Drives and green screening and home studio recordings how to essentially be together in a virtual environment. It was tough to figure out, but now we've got a good system.
Wow, well done. You never guessed the video. Listening to you guys, it was like that. You totally made it melt together. I love it.
Thank you. That's our goal, and it's gone through a lot of shifts, but we're happy with where we're at now. I want to talk about Shield Maiden, because that's the song that I got introduced to. That's the main reason we're chatting, is because I got to experience you guys through that song, which I absolutely loved. I really thought it was fascinating and super unique, and it was in a kind of blend of genres that I had never really heard before. So walk me through, let's start with the writing process for that song, how it came together for the writing.
For Shield Maiden, that is Thomas's song. So Thomas wrote that one, and then we all participated in the recording. And I always record my vocals alone. That's something that I love to do. So all the vocals, and I get to write all the harmony parts out. So, but it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we recorded the video while recording drums in Petrak's studio in Finland. So after the drums were recorded, we already filmed the video, which was quite early because the song wasn't fully mixed or finished yet. So it was still close enough for it to be, filmed. And we did film 2 music videos in that same day, which was, again, another thing that we've never done before. And we've never even done a music video together because on our 2 previous albums, we didn't really participate in the music videos. It was just artists that we contacted and asked them to create music videos for us. So this was the first time we came together in a set and filmed something as well.
Oh, very cool. Did you guys have any input on the video, or did you have a director that was like, okay, do this, and gave you all the instructions?
Well, we had the privilege to work with a dear friend and an awesome video maker of ours, Ville, who is really amazing. And he had these brilliant ideas. I mean, we gave him the 2 songs that we filmed that day, and he had wonderful ideas. And of course, we gave some input and like kind of the vibe of what we think the song is about and how it resonates with us. But he really came up with awesome things, I think, for both the videos. The other one you're going to see in July. So
okay.
A song that I've written. So I can't wait for you guys to see that one because it's completely different and beautiful in its own way. I think it's the most beautiful music video I've ever been a part of. So can't wait to share it with you all next month.
All right. High praise. Everyone look out for July. Okay. Very cool. For what's your approach actually in general to your singing? It's a very unique style. It has like elements of classical with the vibrato. I thought a lot about like really old school, like Disney and like Snow White kind of singing, where it's like light and vibrato, and there's breathiness to it, but it's all very controlled. It's a lovely technique, and I just wonder how you think about it and how you've developed it over the years.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for mentioning Disney because it's my great love and the world that I grew up with. So I'm happy if that translates and somehow you can pick that vibe up from the voice as well. But I don't know. I've always felt like my voice was, a gift from the fairies. It's something that I've just always had, and I don't feel like I can take credit for it. It's something that, of course, it's evolved over the years, and I feel like it's evolved with me as a person. The older you get, the easier it is to reside in your own body, and that also helps you to sing more freely. But when it comes to technique, I don't really have any, and that's why I was so excited and nervous to meet you because I know you know so much. And I'm just kind of self-taught. The first ever big singer that I really fell in love with was Celine Dion, and I started listening to her albums, just singing along and trying to vibe and find the voice inside and where it resonates. And still, for me, a very personal journey, always singing. You kind of tune in with your body, and different days are, I don't know if you get this, but it feels so different to sing on different days. If you're tired, it's harder. And
yes,
this friendship that you form with your body, really.
Yeah, well, it's good if it's a friendship. Yeah.
It is,
sometimes it's like,
I know. Yes, but then you need to be kind and tend to your needs for sure.
Yes, I'm a big vocal nerd, as you saw in my videos. And I mean, you kind of have to be as an opera singer because it's like voice engineering is kind of what I call it, where it's so nuanced and detailed with how you think about developing your voice because you have to, you know, perfectly have the right sound chamber in here. You've got to have your tongue in the perfect position. You've got to have your mouth in the perfect position to be loud enough to sing against an orchestra without a microphone is like the goal at the end of the day. So every opera singer is like always thinking about tiny little things with vocal technique. So I'm always interested, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse because I can't turn it off really. Like if I'm singing, there's going to be some part of me that's thinking about what's going on. So in some ways it's great, and in some ways it's like, you know, sometimes I wish I could just turn it off for a second and just kind of let it rip.
But I'm sure you do that as well. But I think it's good to have a connection with the body. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to kind of be aware of how you sing. I think it might enable you, indeed, like you said, to perform the difficult things that you do need to perform while singing, and also to do it in a way that preserves the voice and doesn't hurt it. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
It definitely allows for troubleshooting really well too. If something's not going well, you can think about, okay, well, I know how to fix it, or I know what's not going well. And either maybe it's something on the day, or maybe it's like a technique thing that you're like, oh, I really need to figure out how to do this thing better. I would say 99% it's good. I'm glad to have it. Glad to have the encyclopedia of vocal technique knowledge.
I love that. I love that.
So your background, you said you didn't do a whole lot of like really formal training for your voice. What kinds of musical things were you up to when you were a child, you know, through what we would say is college age or university age?
Well, I grew up in a very musical family. I mean, music was always like a hobby. My mom played the violin and my dad played the cello. So classical music was a big part of my childhood growing up. And I started my violin lessons when I was 5, and I played about 7 years the violin. And after that, I think I took lessons for piano 2 years or something. And then, you know, adolescence came in, and with it, I think that's when I discovered Celine Dion and started releasing in my room. And probably that's the reason why I kind of developed this very soft voice, because I mean, I was always very tentative, and, you know, I didn't want to disturb people or even let them know that I'm singing and rehearsing. So I tried to sing as quietly as I could. At first, and that's how it all started. And then later on, I went to this high school that specialized in music, and that was really the turning point the pivotal moment of how and where it all began. There was this event held in my school yearly at this nearby club, where it was like this open mic thing that you could go and just sing a song with the house band. And I did, and I sang Celine Dion's Think Twice. Huge song. Super fan. And I remember after that show, a classmate of mine came to talk to me and proposed that, well, she said that I should really make a demo. And she said that she knew somebody from a local studio, and somebody that would be able to help me out with making the demo. And sure enough, he did. And somehow miraculously, that demo ended up on the desk of Warner Music Finland, wow. A&R's desk at the time. And they flew in to meet me, and I got signed. I think it was 1+3 albums, the record deal.
Oh my gosh.
And that's how it all began. It was just like, you know, in a Disney movie, things that just don't happen. But that's how it all began. So my voice is a gift from the fairies, and my career is a gift from all these little angels that were around me and believed in me even when I didn't even at that time.
Wow. That's amazing. What did you do on the demos? Which songs did you sing?
I sang Leanne Rimes' How Do I Live? That's just the song that I remember.
Just one song, one song demo.
I think it was. I don't recall. We might have done another, but I don't recall. That's the only song that I remember. Leanne Rimes. How Do I Live? Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, cool that you had a producer in your town and made it work. So, did you start as a with Warner as a solo artist?
Yeah. I did
Okay,
like 10 years, 7 albums with them.
7 albums.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I started. I was so young. I was just fresh out of high school and yeah, that's where it all began. But I remember back then it was just I just loved to sing, but I feel like it took me years to discover who I am as like a songwriter because during my solo career, all the songs were written for me. And for the
Hmm.
longest time, I felt like, well, I'm not sure if I can write songs, but later on, I discovered that I can't write the sort of songs that the big record label environment requires. I can
Hmm.
certainly write songs, but the songs that want to come out through me are something that needs complete freedom, and that's where Auri came in, and also I of Melian. So it's something that got me started on my career that I'm really grateful for. But now I feel like this is the moment that I finally graduated from this wonderful school of life and music, and now I'm ready to spread my wings and make the music that comes from the heart.
Awesome. Awesome. Coming out of high school is that's such a young s- age to start your professional journey.
I know I was just I think 18, 19, and it took a
Hmm.
few years to kind of figure out what style of music was my solo project or solo name gonna be singing. And I'm so happy that I had the people around me to kind of get me off and see me off and just give me a starting point. But uh, it's still yeah, I'm grateful for it, but I don't miss it. It's
Sure.
something.
And
Uh,
what kind of music was the record label pushing you towards? What kind of songs were they writing for you?
they were beautiful songs, very deep, emotional, ethereal pop. Maybe that's the
Ethereal pop. Cool.
something like that. Yeah. So it was beautiful and lovely, but at a certain point, um, I just knew that I had to step out of it
Hmm.
to start making my own music. And that was so daunting, you can imagine, because that was the only thing that I knew. It was 10 years of my life that I've been doing only that. And that was the only way of making music. And also having the big engine to kind of push the songs out there and have the medium to get the word out there and promote the
Hmm.
music. And then when you just step out of that picture and start fresh, it took another 10 years to get to where we are now. But I'm so grateful. And the best things take time.
Hmm. Yeah, for
They
sure. So did you meet your husband while you were doing solo work, or was that in the last 10 years as you were moving out of that and into the bands?
Yeah, I actually asked him to write a song for one of my solo albums. That's how I
Mm,
met 2009. So that was music connected us already back
nice.
then. And then the idea of Auri pursued pretty soon after. And I feel like for me, the biggest thing that I was missing during my solo career years was the family aspect. Because for me, music is so much about sharing and connecting. And sure enough, I did have a lovely group of people working with me and for me, but it still lacked that sort of, the family vibe
Hmm.
that I'm so grateful that I can now have in both my bands, Auri and I've Melian. That's a sort of soul connection and kindred spirit energy that enables music to kind of transcend onto a even more magical level, when you
Sure.
don't really need words.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's such a blessing.
And were you touring and performing live as a solo artist all those years?
Yeah. Yes, many tours in Finland, but oddly enough, never in a nightliner. So this tour that we're doing with Auri, this fall is going to be the first tour ever that I'm doing in a bus. So
Ah,
it's going to be a new experience. But I do love being on the move. So I have a feeling that I'm going to love the nightliner life very much.
for sure. How do you go about, keeping your voice healthy and in shape, especially if you're going to be headline or if you're going to be, singing for two bands? That's a whole new challenge.
It certainly is. And I think, I've been rehearsing now, gradually building up strength. And I think what I've found with my voice is that it's at its best when I don't do too much. I try to sing economically. I don't know if that's something that you can say, but
efficiently, maybe.
Efficiently, that's it. Yes, efficiently, and it's still a great adventure and something that remains to be seen. But I'm so excited for it, and just a lot of practice, I guess, and just warming up the muscles well. And on tour, I don't usually do any warm up vocally. I just start singing. I hope that's an awful thing to do, but that's just how it's been going. I start from easy things and then move on to the harder bits.
Yeah, I think as long as you're not starting off with your biggest, most powerful singing, that's in that case you'd want to warm up before. But I know opera singers that if the role is not particularly demanding at the start, they'll just warm up with the role. And you can do that once you're experienced and you have a good, you have a mastery of your own instrument, whether or not you think about technique or not. If you understand your voice and your body, that's something you can do. So that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to, and also I love the challenge of it. I've never done anything like that, so very excited to see how all that goes. And on tour, we're only doing a few nights, so it's not going to be the whole tour. So it's just going to be like, dip your feet in the water and see how that feels, and maybe in the future, if the voice says yes, let's do more of it, then we can. But
you mean the two bands at once is only happening on a few nights?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or something. Yeah.
Do you know will it affect how long the sets are when you're singing for both, or is it going to be two full sets?
No, I think the set we're going to do with Eye of Melian, it's just going to be like a support 30 minutes or so, and then with Auri, it's going to be anything from hour and a half to hour and 50 minutes.
Okay.
So it's going to be a long one for sure, a long night, but I just love the music so much. And I feel like so much of singing and music for me is energy. And when you kind of vibe with it, it just flows through you. For me, it's like this, I'm not a religious person, but it feels like a spiritual thing for me, music, especially because I don't feel like it's something that is of me, the magic of music just flows through us all, and we're just spectators. Yeah.
I love that. I think it's a beautiful way to think about it. I definitely can approach that way more for songwriting, which I've been doing a lot of the past year, original songwriting. The voice for me is so technical, but for sure exploring even producing music and playing parts on strings or piano or whatever, that kind of thing. It feels like there is an energy, and you get into this flow state where the good ideas just keep coming, and that's how you get lost in this. I guess how you get lost in the studio all day. It's probably the one thing I can do all day is just be into it deep, just working on music. It's a beautiful thing. I
love that. And isn't it great when the flow just takes you on a ride and you forget time and you're just there?
One of my favorite things is when I'll go into a writing session or producing session thinking I'm going to write a certain song. Like right now, for example, I'm writing this big original piece of music about Achilles and the Trojan War. Massive, like 30 original songs. It's like huge. And sometimes when I was writing it, because now I'm, getting into the demo phase and polishing phase, I would go in thinking I was going to write a song for a specific moment of the story. And I'd write the whole song and I'd be like, this is just way better for a different part of the story.
I love that.
You know?
There you go. I love that you're so intuitively listening to the music and following its lead, because that's really what songwriting is to me as well. It's just being open to let the music come through you. And you might have an idea for a song or even an album, what it's going to be like. But along the way, something happens and the music moves you to where it wants to go.
It's really cool. It's really fun to experiment and, try an instrument here that you might not have thought about, or try a mixing thing you might not have thought about. And you're like, wow, this is actually way different and cooler and better than I had planned,
So
that's
cool.
fun. That's fun stuff.
Yeah, endless fun. For sure.
So when you're on tour, what are the kinds of things that you've noticed affect your voice the most? And, a lot of singers, hydration and sleep, for example, are two big ones. Do you take notice of when these things are maybe they could be like you need to be more hydrated or you need to sleep more and all that sort of stuff?
For sure. I mean, I'm sure all of that plays in. But I think for me, the biggest thing is eating enough before a show, because if I run out of energy, then I'm screwed. And it becomes harder to sing because you need a lot of muscle power to produce a voice you want to go for. So, definitely eating well, sleeping well, and the less stressed you can be, the better, I think. But for me, I just try to arrive in the best shape and form I can possibly arrive on stage, and try to do my best to be in top form for the shows. But occasionally you can't just avoid it. There's a flu epidemic that runs through the whole band, and you just need to power through. And there have been nights where you can barely speak, but then when you get on stage, it's like the singing voice comes from another source, because it's there and it works. So it's a beautiful thing, and that's how I've come to trust it so much. I kind of just think that I just need to arrive, and the music will take care of the rest.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you have a very healthy relationship with, if you show up and your voice isn't feeling well, you'll still be ready and excited to get on stage.
For sure.
That's tough. That I will say that's something not many singers have. Most singers are really worried about if they show up and their voice isn't feeling really good. There's a lot of stress and anxiety surrounding that. So it's wonderful that you can approach performance that way.
Well, it's not always easy, but just coming from experience, if you've had instances in your history where that's kind of been okay, you've kind of lived to tell the tale after a show like that. It enables you to trust your voice more and trust the music more. But indeed, I feel like the more you stress, it's like a vicious cycle when you tread down that rabbit hole of my voice isn't feeling well, and then you kind of add stress on top of that. It builds up. So the best you can do is just trust it and shake the nerves off and just see what comes out tonight. you know?
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. I want to actually wind the clock back again to this musical high school you went to. Do you call it high school where you're from? First of all, just a random question.
We call it high school, you mean?
Do you call it high school? Yeah.
It's, in Finnish, it's like, first we have a school that's 7 years. It's your first school. And then at the end of it, you're like 12. And then you have this 3-year period that's like is it like a junior high?
Junior high or middle school. Yeah. We'd call it,
And then there's this other school, which is 3 years again. 3
years again. Okay.
Yeah, high school. And then after that, you can apply to universities or applied sciences,
That's almost the same. So we have typically a 6-year period for elementary school, you call it, which would be kindergarten plus 1st through 5th grade, and then sixth through eighth grade is middle school, and then ninth through 12th is high school, or freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So it's almost the same.
Yeah, pretty similar. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, that's beside the point. Did you do any sort of like musical theater performing in high school, or were there productions in your school?
There were, but I didn't get, for some reason, I just didn't get into that scene so much. I remember I probably went and played the violin for a song or two, but yeah, I don't know. It feels like a blur. It's I just remember I loved singing, and I went to classes that did songwriting and just had music involved. But oddly enough, I mean, now looking back, I wonder why I didn't actually go and have singing lessons during the school time.
I would have thought that would have been mandatory if you were focusing on singing.
And I did have a class that was called like a pop/jazz singing class. But my teacher, for some reason, was wonderful. He was like this older gentleman who just introduced me to jazz, like the evergreens. And he was just playing the piano, and I was just singing the evergreens. And there was not really any techniques covered, but it was a wonderful thing. And I kept it up. And maybe it was supposed to be that way. And just for me to discover my own way of singing, because I feel like that's been a theme in my life. Overall, to find my own voice in things and trust my own voice, because it's so easy to kind of disregard your own feelings and how you think you should do things and trust other people more, especially if they're more versed or, experienced. But I think the most important thing in life you can do is befriend yourself and trust the voice inside to guide you.
Absolutely. What about choir? Did you guys have any choirs in your high school?
Yes. And I think I have memories of singing in a choir as well. We did this. I remember Mozart's Requiem was one song that I love. That one.
Amazing piece.
Yes. And there were like these, we performed it with another school. So it was this huge group of people singing it together in an old church. And that was wild.
That's very special.
Yeah.
That's very, very special. Okay. Tell me about this other band you're in.
I Have Million.
Yes.
So
what is it? Can you say it really slowly for my American brain?
It is I, like your eye, of Melian. I don't know if you're into Tolkien. Melian.
Yeah, I've read the books. Love the movies.
Oh, so in Silmarillion there is a Maya Melian.
Oh, I have not read Silmarillion. Only the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
Awesome.
Melian.
Yeah,
okay.
Do go and check it out. It's all my fantasy dreams and music come true. It's like this movie score type of symphonic, really majestic orchestrations combined with your pop structure in songs. Like it's approachable. There's songs and lyrics and there's somewhat inspired by Tolkien, but also other topics. And it's a beautiful world of music you might enjoy as well.
That actually sounds quite similar to a lot of the stuff I'm writing for this Achilles piece. It's like modern genres, but with like full orchestra underneath for a lot of it. Like big epic stuff, but there's some stuff that's kind of right down the middle pop, but there's a lot of it's like rock with like full orchestra. It's very cool.
Can't wait to hear your project. When it's due out? When it's going to?
It's probably going to start releasing part of the way through 2026.
So still a ways away. But
yeah, I mean, and which is crazy because I'm done writing the music and the lyrics, but there's still so much to do to get it ready,
Want to nail it. I can't wait to check it out next year for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. Also, before we get off topic, this sword is Aragorn's sword.
That's amazing.
Yeah, from Anduril, from Return of the King.
That's so cool. Well, you're gonna love I Have Million. It's a band that I have with 3 other people. It's the songwriter is Martijn Westerholt from Delane. I don't know if you know Delane. A heavy metal band. So it's his brainchild, basically. And his wife, Robin LaJoy, is our lyricist. She writes lyrics. And then Mikko Mustonen from Finland is our arrangement wizard. He comes up with the orchestrations, and I sing and do a bit of lyric writing as well. It's beautiful. I highly recommend you check it out.
Yeah.
We're currently working on our second album, and like I just told you earlier, we're doing our first ever live show this weekend, which is already sold out. But for the fall shows with Auri, there's still some tickets left. And then we're currently also, while rehearsing for the tour, I'm recording and we're producing the second album, which is due in the beginning of next year. And then we're going to do some headlines shows of our own with Eye of Melian. So definitely exciting times for both fronts, for sure.
How are the live shows going to go with the orchestration?
Oh, well, we are using a lot of backing tracks, but it is our dear hope one day to be able to work with a real live orchestra. That would be the ultimate dream. I feel like this music would cater to that environment so well, and the live strings, and I'm getting chills even thinking about it. So
the best symphonic pop, sort of, you'd call it.
Well,
I haven't heard it, so I don't know.
I recommend you go and check it out. It's like, movie score type of majestic, ethereal pop. And not really pop. Pop is a wrong word. It's like this fantasy music.
Yeah. I can't wait to check it out. I'm definitely going to.
Awesome.
I think the blending of new genres with old genres is the coolest thing happening today in music. Have you seen the show Arcane, perchance? Arcane.
Oh, their name rings a bell, but I'm not sure. Maybe not.
It's huge. It's come out relatively recently. It's based on a video game. You don't have to play the video game. And it's based on League of Legends. I had never played it. I think it's maybe the greatest show ever made. It's animated, but the music is the most incredible blend of very modern genres with like full orchestration and a lot of stuff. Absolutely amazing. And I've become friends with the main songwriter for it. And what's so cool about the show is they have the typical film score, right? Where throughout the whole show, there's music highlighting everything, creating the soundscapes. But they actually wrote an album for the soundtrack specifically. So instead of normally for soundtracks, the music folks will take songs that have already been made and they'll take songs that fit the movie. For this show, they actually wrote new albums specifically for each episode, and so the music perfectly fits like what's happening, and it's this amazing blend of like very modern electronic samples with like orchestra and symphonic stuff, and it's probably the biggest inspiration for all the music that I'm writing right now. I think it's just amazing.
Arcane, you said.
Arcane, yeah. I'm
going to go and check it out as soon as possible. Thank you. That sounds like something right up my alley.
It's awesome. Absolutely. I'm rewatching it right now. I'm rewatching the show because I just I can't get enough of it. It's really stunning.
Oh, I'm itching now to see it. Thank you for the tip. I'm always look for more fantasy.
Yeah, I'm like the guy preaching the Arcane gospel all the time. I'm just like, you have to go see the show.
Awesome. Well, you sold me for sure.
Excellent.
Good.
New member to the team.
Yes, for sure. Never enough fantasy. There can never be too much fantasy in one's life.
I know. For real. Well, what are some of your favorite fantasy stories or series that you've read or seen?
There's so many. Well, the golden age of Disney films for sure. Growing up, and in my recent finds, can you believe I just recently read the Harry Potter books?
They're so good.
I know, right?
They're so good.
I know, and I can't believe, being such a fantasy nerd as I am, that I hadn't done that before, but I totally fell in love with Harry Potter world. And
I just read them for the first time too last year. I read maybe the first 3 as a kid, but had never gone through the whole series, and I couldn't believe how good they were.
Exactly,
and it's fun, and the plot just moves along. Oh, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, great. Harry Potter. What else?
Harry Potter. And well, Skyrim is a huge world of fantasy that got me into gaming, actually.
Sure.
And well, I started from Morrowind and did some Oblivion as well, the previous games, and that. But Skyrim was this game that really stole my heart. And to this day, I mean, I've tried different games, but they're just not.
Mm.
It's just something about Skyrim that hasn't been won yet or topped yet in my heart.
Have you ever tried the Legend of Zelda games?
No, but now I'm really curious.
Oh my gosh. Often considered some of the best games ever written. And the later ones have been more open world, like Skyrim. You know, the earlier ones, which still, like, for example, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was on a gaming system called the Nintendo 64. I don't know if you remember that. It's the one I grew up with. And a lot of people call it was still one of the greatest games ever made.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, definitely worth checking out the Zelda, because there's tons of them. I mean, there's so many Zelda games now.
Oh my goodness. That's another thing for my list for sure. Arcane and Legend is
Arcane and Zelda. That's a great combo right there, those two.
awesome. And then of course, I mean, have you read the books by Patrick Rothfuss, The Name of the Wind?
No, I have not.
Oh, you should. You really would love it. It's actually where the name Auri for our band comes from. One of the characters in his books, Patrick Rothfuss, is Name of the Wind, and Wise Man's Fear is the other book. Then we're still waiting for the third book. But in between, he wrote this beautiful book about Auri, the character, called The Slow Regard of Silent Things, that I really love. It's a simple, short story, but just her character is so captivating and inspiring that we ended up calling our band the same name.
Awesome. How about Game of Thrones? Have you read A Song of Ice and Fire?
I never got into the books. I did kind of watch the series while I was knitting, because that's another hobby that I do. I love to knit fantasy inspired things. So I usually just watch fantasy series and then let my
nice
hands do the knitting. So yeah, but not so much. You like the books?
Oh, I love them. Yeah, they got me back into reading, because I read a lot when I was a kid, and then I was all about sports and other stuff for a very long time. And then 2021, I think, second summer of the pandemic, I picked up Song of Ice and Fire because I love the show, and I just couldn't put them down. And so since then, I've been reading fantasy books, every night.
Cool.
For the last 4 years.
I love that. It's such a great way to unwind and also get ideas for songs. I don't know if you get that too, but you might stumble upon something that you want to write about.
Definitely.
Good for that as well.
So obviously you're big Lord of the Rings fans. All right. Yes. Any other heavy hitters? We got Harry Potter, Skyrim, Patrick Rothfuss, Lord of the Rings.
There's so many. I feel like we're leaving so many out, but just overall, I think fantasy for me, it's not so much escapism of realism. It's for me a way to understand life, to kind of make sense of life. And even growing up, I feel like, and still to this day, I relate to certain characters, or in certain situations in my life, I kind of wish I was more like Galadriel or Mary Poppins. You arrive and fill a need in a situation, and then when the moment passes, you let go. So it's a way to kind of see the world. And also in music, I think it's inspired us all heavily in that I have. But yeah, there's just so many, so many. I feel like I'm forgetting so many important, dear fantasy worlds.
That's okay. I'm putting you on the spot here.
That's a good start, at least. Yeah.
Cool. So what are kind of, we've got about 10 minutes left. What's kind of your vision for the future of the two bands you're in? What do you hope to see happen in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, for me, my big dream is to create like this heart-connected community around the music. I feel like in this day and age, it's so needed. I mean, we are connected through our phones, but yet the true connection is oftentimes missing. So
Totally.
music, I really hope, especially with the live shows, I'm looking to embrace the people that share those nights with us during our A Trail of Candles and Beginnings tour this fall. It's a big dream of mine to kind of share and exude the love and the energy that we feel in the group, performing the music while we've been writing the music, and just embrace people with the connection and love that we share. And I feel like it's somehow the true nature of all of us that we so easily forget in this day and age. And we buy into the illusion of, separation and duality, whereas really we're one big source. Or if you zoom far enough, we're just a blue dot in space.
A pale blue dot.
Pale blue dot, and indeed. And if you zoom that far, then all of your petty little tiny things that you were worried about, they just vanish. And that's just something that I would love to tap into with music, with people, to kind of remind us that we're not alone. And
all we have is each other.
Exactly. Yes.
There's this guy named Alex Hormozy who's a brilliant. He's a brilliant like entrepreneur, but he's basically become like a famous philosopher because he just drops wisdom on people. And I was listening to an interview with him the other day, and he was saying when he gets if he starts getting worked up or stressed about something, or his wife gets worked or stressed about something, he's like, if you zoom out far enough, you can't even see the earth. Not only is it a pale blue dot, you zoom a little bit farther, you just can't see it at all.
Exactly.
And it's like, why are we worrying about, sales for this month from some product? It's like, come on.
It is. And the time we have here is so limited, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for me, it was a huge step into the unknown to leave the world that I knew, the big record label, and start following my dreams. So with the music, with Auri and IF I really hope to kind of generate and touch people with the same energy and the bravery, to follow your dream. We're here for such a short period of time to really make use of that time and find your inner voice and follow that, and find the thing that makes you smile and makes your heart and eyes light up when you talk about it, and go pursue that and let the world see your light.
I love that. It's beautiful. I have a quick thought about the music that I haven't heard yet of I've Million. Have you all thought about, you got me on the hamster wheel now. Have you all used or thought about using like epic choir, like big choir to accompany the orchestra? So not like in the foreground, but in the background, to add more of the huge feeling to it.
Well, that would be amazing. I mean, we've used samples, but to be able to do that live, that would be superb. That would be amazing. Yes,
those two just, they go so well together. The big orchestration with the big choir.
Absolutely. I totally hear that. Yes, for sure. That is something. Imagine doing that live, like with an orchestra and a big choir. That would be
incredible.
Stuff of dreams. Have you done many productions like that in a big setting?
Well, I, as an opera singer, I have the great pleasure of singing with full orchestra every time I perform, in a big theater, which is really cool. And often there are scenes with opera chorus as well. So we just did a show called Aida by Verdi, who's my favorite romantic period composer. And I was singing The King of Egypt. And there are all these scenes and Verdi's big orchestra, it's like 60, 70 piece orchestra. And the choir, I think, was 50 or 60 people too. So it was a very special, very dramatic, show to perform in. So yeah, I actually get to sing in that environment often, but not for, my own music, and not for this genre that we seem both quite interested in. So I think that would be a very cool experience.
Yes, maybe for your release next year as well, that's something that you might want to explore.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, currently it's just, going to be sort of calling it a concept album with maybe the potential of being a musical. It could totally be performed that way. But yeah, I think if it goes well and people really like it, I think live performances would be Incredible.
Well, my fingers crossed you'll get to realize those dreams.
I hope so. I hope so. Working every day towards it. So,
Awesome. Awesome. I'm happy to hear it. Yes.
Thank you. All right. Any final words to our lovely listeners and the other? I mean, you just had a wonderful message, but anything else you'd like to add at the end here?
Just to thank everybody for listening. Thank you so much for inviting me, for the wonderful invitation. I've loved this chat so much, and it's always nice to find kindred spirits and connect through music. It's been such a treat, and I hope to see a lot of beautiful, beautiful souls this fall connecting with us through music on our tour. And well, our album is coming out on 15th of August, The Candles and Beginnings. And I really hope that there are songs and just the energy that lifts you up and makes you pursue your dreams. And
awesome.
Live the life of your dreams.
Do you think you guys are going to come to the States for tour at any point?
That would be so nice. I mean, I feel like at this point, wherever I would be invited, I would just go and perform. Okay. I'm just so excited to get this thing on the road, hopefully in the future. For now, we're just doing Europe and Finland and Scandinavia, but definitely looking to do more live shows in the future as well with Auri and I of Melian. Yes.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Well, Johanna, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I will keep Tiffany updated on all the release stuff. And it's just wonderful. So I wish you the best. Thanks for coming on.
Same here, and all the best to you with all the wonderful music endeavors. And thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Cheers.
Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed that full conversation with Johanna Kurkela of the band Auri and I of Melian, which I didn't know about. If you did, I'm sure you'll enjoy this conversation with Simona Simons. Check it out. Another wonderful singer off Nuclear Blast Records. Let's go. Epica. Simona.